and welcome to another episode of today's GK. I am Pooja Dwivedi, and in this segment we bring to you objective questions on a daily basis to help you crack prelims. So let's begin with the practice question of last segment. Now in this question you had to match the wildlife sanctuary to the state it belonged to. Ganga Sanctuary, Madhya Pradesh, Bhadra Wildlife Sanctuary in Kerala, Chinnar Wildlife Sanctuary in Karnataka. Now, which of the above pairs is or are correctly matched? A1 only, B2 only, C 2 and 3 only, or D none of the above? The correct answer for this question is D, that is none of the above. So let's move on to the explanation. Ganga Sanctuary belongs to Maharashtra, Bhadra Wildlife Sanctuary belongs to Karnataka, and Chinnar Wildlife Sanctuary belongs to Kerala. Hence option D is correct. Moving on to the first question of today's segment. Consider the following statements about PM Awani scheme. The Wi-Fi will be provided through public data offices or PDOs at small license fees. The PDOs lease internet service from other telecom and internet service provider. So which of the statements given above is or are correct? A1 only, B2 only, C both 1 and 2, D neither 1 nor 2. The correct answer for this question is B, that is 2 only. Moving on to the explanation. The public Wi-Fi will be rolled out as a part of the Prime Minister Wi-Fi Access Network Interface or PM-WANI. The Wi-Fi will be provided through public data offices or PDOs for which there will be no license, registration or any other fees. The PDO will be set up along the lines of public calling office, can be a store in the area or the common service center present in various small towns, Gram Panchayats and village in the country. Also, the PDOs can either provide internet or on their own lease, right? It from other telecom and internet service provider, they can do it from their own end or some other telecom provider. In addition to the PDOs, there will also be the PDO aggregator, which will look after the authorization and accounting of PDOs, right? Moving on. Let's look at the next question. With reference to the Universal Service Obligation Fund, USOF, which of the following statements are not correct? A. It is a non-lapsable fund and deposited into the Consolidated Fund of India. B. All credits to this fund require parliamentary approval. C. The fund has no statutory status. D. Provides widespread and non-discriminatory access to quality ICT services at affordable prices to people in rural and remote areas. So I hope you know the meaning of non-lapsable. The correct answer for this question is C, that is the fund has a non-statutory status. You had to pick out the false statement here, the one which was not true. Moving on to the explanation, the Union Cabinet has given its approval for provision of a Universal Service Obligation Fund scheme, which provides mobile coverage in Arunachal Pradesh and 2 districts of Assam, namely Karbi Anglong district as well as Dima Hasao, under the Comprehensive Telecom Development Plan for Northeastern Region. NER is Northeastern Region. And Universal Service Obligation Fund, it was created under the Department of Telecommunication in the year 2002. And also the Indian Telegraph Amendment Act 2003 gave statutory status to USOF. Now, it is a non-lapsable fund, which means that the unspent amount under a targeted amount to be spent in the year does not lapse and keeps on accumulating for the next year. Also, the fund is deposited into the Consolidated Fund of India, and all credits to this fund require parliamentary approval, of course. And the USOF is headed by the USOF administrator, who reports to the Secretary of the Department of Telecommunication. Also, USOF ensures that there is a universal non-discriminatory access to quality ICT service, which is economically efficient and which is belonging to the people in rural and remote areas. Moving on, look at the next question. Consider the following statements about Quadrilateral Security Dialogue or Quad. Now, it is the formal strategic dialogue between India, USA and Japan and Australia. It shares a vision for a free and open Indo-Pacific region. Now, which of the statements given above is or are correct? A1 only, B2 only, C both 1 and 2, D neither 1 nor 2. The correct answer for this question is B, that is Two only. Only the second statement is correct. Why? Because Russia has expressed concerns about the United States Indo-Pacific policy, and it has criticized the quadrilateral security dialogue. Why? Because Russia is getting very close with China, as we can see right now. Russia is feeling insecure, and China is also feeling very insecure and cornered by the West and also some of the members of the Asia. And if we talk about, it is an informal strategic dialogue. It is not formal, informal strategic dialogue between India, USA, Japan and Australia, because they are striving for balance of power in the region of Indo-Pacific, and they have a shared objective to ensure and support a free and open Indo-Pacific region, which is also prosperous in nature. So the idea of Quad was first ever mooted by the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe in the year 2007. However, the idea couldn't move ahead, with Australia pulling out of it apparently due to Chinese pressure. Chinese had a lot of students, as well as it is a very good, if we talk about, very lucrative trading partner for Australia. That is why back then it pulled out. So look at the next question now. Consider the following statements about the UNESCO World Heritage Cities. Its aim is to assist state parties in protecting and managing their urban heritage. Gwalior has been included in the list of UNESCO World Heritage Cities. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? A1 only, B2 only, C both 1 and 2, D neither 1 nor 2. The correct answer for this question is C, that is both 1 and 2. Both the statements are correct. Moving on with the explanation. Now recently, Gwalior and Orcha in Madhya Pradesh have been included in the list of UNESCO World Heritage Cities. Now the World Heritage Cities program is one of the 6 thematic programs. Now this particular program is formally approved by the World Heritage Committee, and the World Heritage Cities program, it aims to assist state members and in the challenge of protecting and managing their urban cities and urban heritage, which are of great significance, right? Also, look at our next question. Climate Change Performance Index, CCPI, was recently released by which of the following? A. German Watch, B. Niti Aayog, C. United Nations Environment Programme, D. World Bank. The correct answer for this question is A. The Climate Change Performance Index is given by German Watch. Moving on. And this year, it was recently released for 2021. The CCPI is developed by not-for-profit organization, which is German Watch and New Climate Institute together with Climate Action Network, SCAN International. And also it is an important tool which strives to enhance transparency in international climate policies, which enables the comparison of climate protection effort as well as progress between different individual countries, right? The list is prepared by assessing performance of 57 countries and European Union as a whole, which is divided into 4 categories, with greenhouse gas emissions having 40% weightage, renewable energy having 20% weightage, energy use having 20% weightage, and climate policy having 20% weightage. These 57 countries with the European Union, they collectively are responsible for 90% of the global greenhouse gas emission, right? If you can please name the top 4 greenhouse gas emitters in the comment box, please do it. Then India slid 1 position down from 9th in the year 2019 to 10th in the year 2020. Now the country's journey towards climate protection has been consistent, very consistent, with an improving. It's keeping on improving, and it was at the 31st position in the year 2014. And as we know, according to the Paris Accord, it has done very well on 2/3 of its parameter, right? It has achieved the first and the second parameters it had committed under the intended nationally determined contributions. All right, and US, as we all know, has pulled out of it officially this year. Moving on to our next question. But let's first look at the index also. So India's rank, you can see the progress from 31 to 10, right? This has been the improvement. And you can see the countries over here. Scandinavian countries tend to perform very good in climate action programs, right? So moving on to the next question. With reference to the light detection and ranging LIDAR technology, consider the following statements. It is a remote sensing method that uses light in the form of a pulsed laser to measure variable distances. It has applications in agriculture and water management system as well. So which of the statements given above is or are correct? A, 1 only, B, 2 only, C, both 1 and 2, D, neither 1 nor 2. The correct answer for this question is C, that is both 1 and 2. Both the statements are correct. Indian Railways will use the LIDAR or light detection and ranging technique to conduct ground survey for the Delhi-Varanasi high-speed rail corridor. It is a remote sensing method that uses light in the form of pulsed laser to measure ranges and variable distances. So remote sensing is possible with the help of satellites. And these light pulses, which are combined with other data recorded by airborne system, generate precise, very precise of course, three-dimensional information, that is 3D information. And what about the shape of the earth and its surface characteristics as well. Also, a LIDAR, it is an instrument which principally consists of a laser, a scanner and a specialized GPS receiver. The applications, if we talk about, is very vast, ranging from agriculture, hydrology and water management systems and geology related applications as well. It is also used in archaeology, right? So, moving on to our next question with reference to Emission Gap Report, EGR. Consider the following statements. We did talk about this. It is released by United Nations Environment Programme and it measures the gap between anticipated emissions and levels consistent with the Paris Agreement goals of limiting a global warming. So, which of the statements given above is or are correct? A, 1 only, B, 2 only, C, both 1 and 2, D, neither 1 nor 2. The correct answer for this question is C, that is both the statements are correct. So the United Nations Environment Programme released its annual emission gap report of 2020, which was very much awaited and is unequivocal that there is no ebb to human-induced greenhouse gas emission. And the year 2020 is on course to be one of the warmest on record. No ebb in the sense that it has not worked very well. The countries have not made a lot of progress. And recently another report was released by the UNEP which said that production of coal, oil and gas is set to double in 2030 because the economies have been pushed back due to COVID-induced lockdown. So the year 2020 is on course to be one of the warmest on record. While wildfires, storms and droughts, these continue to wreak havoc. The annual report from UNEP, it measures the gap between anticipated emissions and level which is consistent with the Paris Agreement goals of limiting global warming this century. That means 2100 to well below 2 degrees Celsius and pursuing 1.5 degree Celsius. Moving on to the next question. Consider the following statements about a Better Than Cash Alliance. First, it is a partnership of governments, companies and international organizations. It aims to advance Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs and India is one of its members. So you have to look at the statements and tell which of these statements is or are correct. A, 1 and 2 only, B, 2 and 3 only, C, 1 and 3 only, or D, all of the above. The correct answer for this question is D, that is all of the above. All the statements are correct. Let's look at the answer. So India and the UN-based Better Than Cash Alliance, this organized, these two countries or these two institutes organized. So India and UN-based Better Than Cash Alliance organized a joint peer learning exchange on fintech solutions, which is for the responsible digital payments at last mile. So Better Than Cash Alliance is a partnership of governments, companies, as well as international organizations, these three, that accelerates the transition, the movement from cash to responsible digital payments and to advance the Sustainable Development Goals as well. The alliance has 75 members which are committed to digitizing their cash process, their payment process, in order to boost efficiency, transparency, and women's economic participation as well, and financial as well as social inclusion, which helps in building the economies that are digital as well as inclusive in all the senses. The traction needs to get on. Moving on, members do not want to abolish physical cash because it is a legal tender, but rather want to provide responsible digital payment options that are better than cash. So India became a member of the Better Than Cash Alliance only in the year 2015 in order to digitize payments, to achieve financial inclusion, and to share success stories from Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, which is the world's largest financial inclusion program. Alright, moving on. Look at the next question. The substance Malana cream recently seen in the news is native to which of the following states? A. Uttarakhand, B. Himachal Pradesh, C. Jammu and Kashmir, or D. Sikkim? The correct answer for this question is B, that is Himachal Pradesh. So, the Narcotics Control Bureau in Mumbai claimed to have seized contraband Malana cream from a person who has been linked to Sushant Singh Rajput's death, very sensationalized in nature. It is the charas or hash or also hashish it is known as, and it comes from Malana Valley in Himachal Pradesh in the Kullu Valley in the Kullu district. Charas, which is known as bhang in Himachal Pradesh, it is a resin which is obtained from a species or strain of cannabis plant. The botanical classification of cannabis is still disputed, and it grows naturally in the valley, and sometimes, and not sometimes, it is cultivated illegally as well. So the valley has a single valley by the name of Malana, and the hash resin produced there is generally more creamy or clay-like, smooth in structure as compared to that produced in the other parts of the state. The cannabis plant has a number of chemical compounds called the cannabinoids, among which tetrahydrocannabinol is the primary psychoactive constituent which produces the high sensation, right? Moving on, strains of the plant with low levels of THC are used for industrial and non-drug purpose as well, not only for drugs and sedatives but other purpose such as making ropes, papers, textiles. Plants with a high level of another cannabinoid called CBD, it is particularly used for medicinal purposes as well, right? Moving on, let's look at our next question. With reference to Make in India policy, consider the following statements. Class 1 is a local supplier or service provider whose goods, services or works offered for procurement have local content equal to or more than 50%. Class 2 is a supplier or service provider whose goods, services or works offered for procurement have a local content of more than 20% but less than 50%. So look at the options. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? A1 only, B2 only, C both 1 and 2, D neither 1 nor 2. Look at the statements once more. The correct answer for this question is C both 1 and 2. Both the statements are correct. Moving on to the explanation. The explanation says that the Ministry of Railways has written to the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade or DPIIT, which for seeking exemption for procuring certain medical items which are manufactured outside India, particularly medicines used in the treatment of COVID-19 and cancer. So the revised public procurement preference to Make in India, by the order of 2017, it introduced a concept of class 1, class 2 and non-local suppliers, which is based on which they will get preference in government purchases of goods and services. So, in the existing Make in India policy, there is no window available to procure such items from the suppliers who may not meet the local content criteria which is required for class 1 and class 2 local supplier category. And also, class 1 is a local supplier or service producer whose goods, services or works offered for procurement have a local content equal to or more than 50%. Class 2 is a supplier or service provider whose goods, services or works which offered for procurement have a local content of more than 20% but less than 50%. Only these two categories of suppliers shall be eligible. Please keep this in mind that only these two categories of suppliers shall be eligible to bid in the procurement of all goods, services and works with an essential estimated value of purchase of less than rupees 200 crore, right? And it is therefore proposed to seek an exemption to procure such medicines and medicinal items from Indian market from non-local suppliers. These are the suppliers who supply local content of less than 20%. Moving on to the practice question for today's segment. Which of the following countries or bodies release the International Religious Freedom Report? A. United States of America, B. United Kingdom, C. United Nations, or D. European Union. So I hope you'll be able to answer it correctly in the comment segment. That's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again. Thank you so much for watching.